Even if you've never seen 1984's Ghostbusters, you've probably come across the theme song turned catchphrase.
If there's something strange in your neighborhood, who you gonna call? Ghostbusters!
Alongside the success of the film, Who You Gonna Call has appeared on merchandise of just about every conceivable kind over the years. But for some pedantic folks out there, this sentence poses a problem. The who should actually be a whom. Despite its reputation, the golden rule of whom is pretty simple on paper. Whom and whomever should be used to refer to the object of a verb or preposition. If we quickly break the sentence down, both who and you are pronouns which refer to people who are interacting with the main verb call. As the person who would actually do the calling, you is the subject, while the person being called, the who, is the object, and as per the rule, should therefore be whom. Time to start recalling the t-shirts. But whom is being abandoned across the media spectrum. Here's a playlist of songs which should have whom in the title, and you could easily make a similar playlist for YouTube videos. Even social media companies like Twitter skip on correct grammar in this case. When you scroll through your homepage, you'll see occasional recommendations of who to follow. But because who is the pronoun for the person being followed, not the person doing the following, it's again the object of the verb, and again should therefore be whom. It sounds simple enough when laid out, but when playing out in a real-time conversation, the subject-object calculation can be a little difficult. Part of the reason whom is being abandoned might be that we're simply afraid of getting it wrong.
Ready.
Why don't you
Honest
do the
estimate.
presentation?
Because
I
I don't want
know how to do
what
it.
I really want, honestly, Michael, is for you to know it so that you can communicate it to the people here, to your clients, to whomever.
Oh, okay.
What?
It's whoever, not whomever.
No, it's whomever.
No, whomever is never actually right.
Well, sometimes it's right.
Michael is right. It's a made-up word used to trick students.
Though Ryan got it right here, the explanation ends up being a little complicated.
Ryan wanted Michael, the subject, to explain the computer system, the object.
Thank you.
To whomever, meaning us, the indirect object, which is the correct usage of the word.
No one asks you anything ever?
If we wrongly throw a whom or whomever into the mix, we can look like we're trying too hard. And this is reflected in the technical term hypercorrection, when a writer or speaker tries to be overly conscious of a grammatical rule to the point where they misuse it. We see the same mistakes made with the semicolon, whose humble life in the grey area between comma and colon is shrouded in mystery. This graph uses the Google Books database to show the frequency of whom in written text over time, all the way from the 1700s to the peak in 1826, where you could find one whom in every 2,000 words or so. Yet, immediately after this, we see a plummet in usage, with our little pronoun consistently falling until the new millennium, where it was found about once in every 10,000 words. Even without modern databases, 100 years ago notable linguist Edward Sapir observed and further predicted the decline, saying that it is safe to prophesy that within a couple of 100 years, not even the most learned jurist will be saying, "Whom did you see?" In his study of why, Sapir observed that in the family of the 6 interrogatives, more commonly known as the 5 W's and 1 H, only who has variations in the possessive whose and the objective whom. This is a seemingly random exception, and Sapir suggests there is a strong feeling in English that the interrogative pronoun or adverb should be invariable. He also describes whom as clumsy, with a heavy build, particularly because of the M on the end, which is called a bilabial consonant, because it requires both of our lips to work together to sound out. In terms of pronunciation, this leaves our mouths in an awkward position and creates problems when we try to link whom with other words. But a big nail in whom's coffin came in the form of the 1989 Oxford English Dictionary 2nd edition, which boldly stated that whom is no longer natural in colloquial speech. There are 2 schools of thought in grammar. A forceful advocate for whom would probably fall into the prescriptivist camp, which believes that the rules of language have been prescribed and we should follow these established rules without making changes that might harm the language, like abandoning whom or changing the meaning of literally. But most modern dictionaries are descriptive, meaning that they observe and record how language is used and how it changes. So these dictionaries just describe what people are doing and try to keep up with changes and language evolutions like whom. It's easy to see how people who correct you on your use of whom or literally might be seen as pretentious. They seem to be ignoring natural language evolution and prescriptively telling you how to speak. In reality, there should probably be a balance between following rules and allowing changes. As a personal but maybe extreme example, in the golden age of text language in the mid-2000s, the New Zealand Qualifications Authority suggested that it might accept text language in its national high school examinations. But the pushback was clear. Text language was an evolution too far. Whom is a different story, and now even expert grammarians are saying that continuing to move further away from whom won't harm the English language. Set phrases and expressions like "to whom it may concern" will ensure that whom is kind of fossilized in English for some time, but it might not be long before these are the only places in English where we'll find the misunderstood pronoun.